LinkedIn profile in the chat and connect with others who share theirs. That would help everybody, again, grow their networks in a very simple steps here. So today, again, introduction to ChatGPT. So if you're very new to ChatGPT, don't know anything about ChatGPT, we'll speak a little bit about it. If you're a guru, you know ChatGPT very well, you've been using it, then that's perfect. Again, I just want to make sure, you know, I want to address everybody's learning curve here. Some people don't use it, some people use it, and that's why I'll start from the early basics, and it's going to be really quick. So what are we going to use ChatGPT for in today's session? Again, for resumes, how to tailor resumes. Tailoring resumes is very, very important. You know, if you're applying for a long time and not getting any responses, this is mostly because you're not tailoring. So I'll go through this. I'll show you the demo. Interview preparation. If you have an interview that is coming up and you want to get the best out of it and nail it, as they say, that's how you will do it. I'll show you the steps to prepare for it. How do you do company starting as well? I'll show you those steps through ChatGPT. And then again, I'll share some job search strategies with ChatGPT and then open up for Q&A. There is some question that you already shared when you fill the form. I'll also address those at the end. Okay, so who's Ahmed Zayed and why should we listen to Ahmed Zayed? Again, as Sister Amber shared, you know, I've came to Canada and the US almost long back. I'm Canadian and I live mostly in Canada, but I used to work for Indeed for the last 2 years. And I mostly focus on helping people getting jobs. That's what I like to do. That's my passion. And that's what I, you know, inspired by my story. When I moved to Canada, almost 2014, I struggled with my job search myself. And despite that I, you know, delivered a big program with Cisco, Smart City, that is almost $180 million, and something that nobody did before anywhere in the world, I still couldn't really find my first job in Canada. So I've reached out to so many people. I tried to my best, and, you know, until I got coached and mentored by smart people, and I developed my own methodology. And since then, I've been helping people getting jobs as a volunteer, as a coach, as a mentor for the last 5 years. And I, alhamdulillah, managed to help more than 700 people land jobs, specifically in the IT. I'm an IT professional, so that's my field, and that's where my core strength. But again, the methodologies that I applied is mostly working for generic or everybody role as well. So again, I don't want to waste more time on my journey. We can chat about this offline, but if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn profile. This is my number. If you want to WhatsApp as well, I'll be happy to help you guys offline as needed. So next, again, the webinar goal is just learning the basics, applying practical techniques, and then showcase, how do you use ChatGPT to save time and be more organized. So what's ChatGPT, and what's the big thing about it today? So ChatGPT is developed by a company called OpenAI, and it's based today on what is called GPT-4 architecture. That's all technical thing that you may not be interested to learn more, but if you're really interested, you can just go to the tool itself and type what's ChatGPT, and you can get more information about it from the tool itself and learn more insights. But again, I don't want you to bother yourself with those details. It's mostly a language model trained on diverse data. So consider it as your coach or mentor or consultant for everything that you need to do in life. Not only in the job search, not only in business, it's in everything, Sometimes, again, there is some liabilities if, they give you a legal consultation or a medical consultation. They don't really do this, just again for liabilities, but the tool is trained and is doing lots of things like that in those fields like healthcare and legal system, again, in those specific scenarios within, again, specific constraints. But again, it's a big wisdom and lots of information that you can get out of ChatGPT and consider it as, the magic box that can help you with almost everything. If you want to plan a trip, if you want to, do a small garden, project, it can help you with anything. Very, very clever tool and very smart, and it has lots of resources that they feed into that can help generating those information. So why it's powerful? Again, it can understand and respond to a wide range of topics. And again, whatever you are searching for, if you're buying a car, if you're selling a car, if you're buying a home, if you're maybe you want to teach your son some mathematics or science or physics, whatever, again, you're doing, it can help you a lot in that manner. Useful for generating content, answering questions, and providing recommendations. I'll just go through this quickly. So what's the applications of ChatGPT? Again, it's a writing assistant. So today's call, I see somebody who's using a tool that is recording this chat and is trying to, again, get the benefit from this through fireflies.ai note taker. So what this fireflies.ai note taker is doing is just, again, taking my speech, converting it to text, and then providing a summary of what I'm saying here in the call. So that's, again, one of the integration that you can do using ChatGPT and AI in general here. So what are the specific examples that you can use ChatGPT in your job search journey? Is, again, finding your best role for you, targeting companies with higher potential of salary, tailoring resumes, preparing for interviews, researching companies and job listings. It can do a lot of things. And again, in the demo piece, I'll show you some of those things that practical that ChatGPT can do. So in case you don't know a lot about resumes, I just put some few tips here that would help in general, making your resume much more visible in the search for recruiters and hiring managers, so that you don't really get that black hole, apply, and not get any results, or again, get that, automated message, sorry, we move forward with someone else. So the ATS is a software, so your first gate to, apply for any job is through a machine. The machine is called an ATS, applicant tracking system or software. So the job is created, they advertise on the job board, and then you apply for it, you submit. So what does the ATS do? It checks keywords in the job description versus those same keywords in your resume. And it starts to rank your resume from 1 to 1,000 or 2,000 in an order, depending, again, on how many matches you have for those keywords. And if the ATS also found more words that is not in the job description, it could also lower you down. So you have to be careful here that you don't really add more information outside of the job description, because this also could put you down. And consider this as your Google search. When you are searching for something on Google, you see like 10,000 pages of the same thing, and you can just see the first page. So that's exactly what happened with the recruiters. They just see the first 20 resumes, and those are the ones that really, get read by a human person after that. So if you want to really be within those 20 persons who get that, luxury to be read by an HR person or a hiring manager, then you have to tailor your resume to the job. Well, that's, again, one of the key things why tailoring is very, very important to help you with your black hole. If you're applying and not getting any results, that's mostly because you're not tailoring to each job description. So this is just a small brief about ATS, and that's why, ChatGPT would be very helpful in this area specifically. When you do it, a resume, you need to be unique and personalized. Don't put general words that can be copied and pasted by everybody. So if I say I'm a good communication person, that's general. Anybody could take this word and put it in any resume. But if I say I deliver 3 reports in 2 weeks for 3 managers, that's very specific to me. Nobody can copy and paste this message in my resume. So use numbers and action verbs. This is very important. In the resume as well, you need to avoid bias and discrimination. And again, the world is very difficult today. Human beings are very difficult. There is tons of bias and discrimination, something that we could feel and something that we don't really feel. And I mean here by bias and discrimination is maybe your background, your age, your ethnicity. Some people like Egyptians like me, some people don't like Egyptians. So why should I give this information in my resume that I'm originally from Egypt? Why should I show in my resume that my graduation year is 20 years back? And then they can do the math and then they know that, my age is like 40 or 45 or whatever. So you shouldn't put those numbers or those information in your resume to avoid this bias and discrimination. And again, regardless of the company, there is definitely some bias and discrimination that could be hidden. And this is, again, human nature. We cannot control this. Again, don't add any extra information that can hurt you or waste or make it noise. Like sometimes, I read some resume saying, I speak Arabic and I speak English, and my Arabic is Moroccan dialects. So what does this need to do in the resume? Like, why you're saying this? All the respect to all nationalities, but again, don't give those extra information that could really hurt you and could create a noise. If you've done courses in thing that is outside of the job description, that's fine, but don't waste the interviewer or the hiring manager's time by putting those, because it becomes like a noise, and when it's noise, then it just get filtered out. Okay, let's get back to ChatGPT. So what do I do to do? How can I use ChatGPT to enhance my resume? So you copy and paste your resume, whatever version that you have today, and you copy and paste the job description and ask ChatGPT to tailor the resume to the job description, and then it will give you a format. This format, you have to start reading it and then review it and check if it's, giving you value, is matching those tips that I just showed you before, and then you can customize it as needed, maybe tailor it a little bit. The first one or two might take you a little bit more time, but then if you tailor this well, then the next few jobs that you apply for is gonna take you maybe like 3 minutes max, just a copy or paste exercise, and again, avoid generic phrases. And again, I'll show you this in action in a demo very soon. So for the interview, if I'm having an interview with company, Google, Microsoft, whatever, what should I do? How can I prepare myself to those things? And again, I normally consider interview is like 80% of your journey. If you reach there and you don't get the offer letter, you definitely need to practice interviews, because that's something that is very, very important for your journey. Interviews, again, is like 80% of your journey. So try to nail that last 20% or the last step before you get the offer letter. So how do we prepare for an interview? Again, simple thing. Put the job description in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to create for you the list of the top interview questions for this job, and it will list it down for you. And then what you do is practice answering those questions yourself. You can use a tool called author.ai, like the one that is here, Note Taker. It's free for 30 minutes. You can record your answers and then take those answers, copy it back in ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT to give you feedback on your answers, and keep going. Keep reiterating those cycles until you really get a good rating from ChatGPT on your interviewing answers. There is another website that is paid called instage.io. This is a good website, but it's almost using both ChatGPT and author.ai to do the same thing, but it's like having a robot who will speak with you as if they are a hiring manager. You will record their answer, and then you will get a mock feedback on that interview. If I'm speaking too fast, please let me know. Again, I'm not seeing the chat, Sister Amber, so if there is anything that I need to do, please let me know.
Yes, we will let you know. You're good. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay. So researching companies, again, job search is a very complex process. If you don't really focus on specific companies that would give you the salary that you're targeting, then you're going to be wasting your time. If you just apply for the sake of applying, again, this is just going to be a waste of your valuable time. And time is your biggest asset right now if you're searching for a job. So you need to understand again the company culture and preparing tailored questions for those company in terms of, you can check with people who are insiders, people who are working on those companies, and get some inside views of what really the day look like in this company. Like if you work for Google, would I, be happy to work for Google? If I work for Microsoft, for Amazon or whatever company that you are really um, passionate to work with, you may not know exactly their culture. So you can, research their culture through websites or through ChatGPT as well. Um, Use ChatGPT again to generate specific questions for interviews based on your company research. So if at the end of the interview they ask you, do you have any questions for us? You may want to ask those valuable questions based on your interview, based on your research, sorry. So that would help the interviewers see that you have a really great interest in this company and you've done your homework, you really like this company, and you could be the best candidate for this company. So again, you could ask ChatGPT to create for you a table like this one with companies that are currently hiring for your role and what is their salary ranges and what is their website link, or maybe some other information that you would like to get in your research. I normally ask to research, again, projects, products, mission, vision, um, culture, number of users, revenue, number of employees, headquarter. All those things are very important to research for those companies, because when you speak with those companies and they don't think that you really did that homework, oh, they will find you like any other person who just applying. But if you really care about those companies, you say, I've been reading about your project XYZ that you've done in 2020, for example, and I've been impressed by your work there, then that means that you're really interested about this company. That means that you're really looking to be hired by this company. So targeting companies, again, using ChatGPT to find information about target companies, understanding the industry trends. Sometimes the job that you're looking for is becoming really hard and obsolete. AI, for example, hit HR badly. People who are working in HR are very, very badly hit, specifically recruiters and HR consultants, because AI tools can now replace those folks with some software. Quality assurance testers are also hit hardly. Those low coding profiles, that customer service sometimes also are getting replaced by AI. So again, there is definitely a risk from ChatGPT and introducing ChatGPT in companies. But again, if you're able to use ChatGPT and or AI in general and understand how to make it work for your job, then you're ahead of those risks. If you're just doing nothing, then unfortunately you will be having difficulty getting back to the workforce. Using ChatGPT again to estimate salary ranges. This is also very important, because if you're looking for a job and you don't know what salary range it will provide you, then unfortunately you're wasting your time. The first question and that you should ask, how much salary are you guys providing me? Because, and this is fair question. There is no issues about asking this. Normally there is what is called pay transparency now movement in most big companies in the world, that they should tell you exactly what are the salary range before you apply. And if you go to Indeed and LinkedIn, and some other job portals, you will find them putting that salary range in the job posting itself. Okay, I spoke a lot about this, and I want to move quickly to the demo. But what I'm trying to say here, if you're not using AI today, uh, unfortunately, you will be out of the market real quick. AI today is becoming like reading. It's becoming like just, getting your degree. If you don't know that basic skill, and this again applies to all jobs. So lawyers, doctors, dentists, farmers, whatever job, that you are looking for or working in, if you don't use AI, if you are not really tech savvy and understand technology, you are in great risk, unfortunately. So your most important thing is ability to learn fast and adapt is the key in hiring. So if you're not really able to do this, you can practice it. It's not very difficult. And I can show you some examples in our demo when we go to the demo real soon now. Okay, I think those questions I'll cover them at the end. I know that those questions were asked in the forms, but I want to now move to the demo so that you can see how do we do this. So I created just a sample resume here that I'm gonna use for the demo. And you guys can do the same thing on your side so that you can get something out of this webinar at the end. So open your resume, and then what you do, just copy your resume like this, and then go to ChatGPT, and then I'll open a new chat. And what I did, I also, found a job description that I wanna tailor my resume to here that I'll copy as well in this chat. So again, I did this just for the sake of this session so that I don't really go into multiple screens. And let me maybe make this a little bit bigger here so that you guys can see it easier. So I'll put
Yes, thank you. That was much clearer.
yeah, I pasted now the resume here, and I'll say tailor my resume above to the job description below and apply all keywords that makes this resume pass ATS. And then what I'll do, I'll just copy the job description here. And again, now please stop me if you don't know or you want to ask any question, because this is very important for you to learn. So what I'll do now, I'll just paste the job description and press enter here. And then ChatGPT will start working now on updating my resume and putting it into a format that would help me apply to this role. So again, I put just again generic resume. So what I'll do, I'll just go here, copy all this and put it in my resume. So I'll just copy here, see this bottom copy, and then I'll go here, and then this is what I copied from. Again, I did this before the call, but this is exactly what I did. I copied this here, and now what I'll do, I'll have to read again, the resume and see if this is making sense for this job or not. So this is an HR person, speaks English and Spanish, and unfortunately, they are in Canada, so Spanish is not really needed. So what I'll do, I'll just again remove Spanish and remove seasoned bilingual, because English is default there. And then I'll keep reading. I'll see if there is anything that makes me feel like this is not good enough. So again, this piece here, Americas, European Union, and UK and Canada, this may not work in Canada or the US. If you have experience outside of Canada and US, some employers doesn't really find this as a good sign. They could find this as a sign that you're not local, you don't know the market, you don't know what they are really looking for, and they could, take this as a negative thing. So I'll just to avoid again bias and discrimination, I'll just, remove this from this resume here. Okay, and then I'll again redo this, asking ChatGPT to add more numbers and achievements related to this resume. So what I'll do now, again, I'll just go real quick. I'm not reading it letter by letter here because I don't want to waste your time here, but I'll see what really makes sense. So this is an HR certificate. That's good. Business management HR, low O&M university. Maybe this one is not needed. And again, I don't want to put the graduation years. So I'll remove this. Again, I'll remove all the graduation years. This one I'll leave it because it's still gonna happen late 2024. This one I'll remove. Again, whatever information that could lead them to know my age, I'll definitely remove it. Volunteering, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. Microsoft Office Suite. So Microsoft Office Suite is now a basic skill. If you don't have Microsoft Office Suite, then unfortunately you'll be having very big difficulty in entering any enterprise company or employer that needs computer skills, because this is like basic skill now. Adobe Acrobat, CRM, HRIS systems. So all those are good for HR, Canva, Zoom. Okay, that's all good. So again, this is now a good first version. I'm not saying this is the final version. So what I'll do here, I'll take this copy again, and then go to ChatGPT, and then ask ChatGPT, add more numbers in achievements and use action verbs and tailor to the same job description. And you don't need to worry about the spelling mistakes here because ChatGPT is very smart and would, help us with the spelling mistakes here. So you see here now, I, asked to add more numbers. So you will see some difference here between that resume and this one. So let me just show you real quick here. So you see here it was very generic, didn't add some numbers. And it when I told you before, led, mentored, and motivated associates to achieve high performance, resulting in promotions. Maybe I could copy and paste this in my resume. Even though I'm not an HR person, I could still copy and paste this as an IT person. But if I say here, mentored and motivated associates resulting in 25% increase in performance and 3 promotions within a year, that's something that only this person can write in his or her resume. Successfully executed full cycle recruitment processes, filling key positions and reducing time to fill by 15%. Again, I cannot put this number because I cannot explain it, but that person can explain it again if this is really the right thing that they've done. Again, don't try to lie or don't try to exaggerate because when you go to the interview and they ask about, how did you do this? And you cannot answer, then that's not gonna be a good sign at all for you. Okay, so this is how you do the resume, and you can keep going doing this multiple times until you really reach the iteration or the version that would maybe make this the best resume to your job description. How would I know that this is the best version of my resume? So what I'll do here, I'll ask ChatGPT, please rate my resume above to the job description, provide me, oops, provide me a rating and the areas that I need to improve to pass the ATS and be the best candidate for this role. Okay, give rating out of 5. Okay, so what I'll do now, again, rating, what I got now is 4 out of 5. And this is the areas of improvement, quantifiable achievements, action verbs, incorporate strong action verbs. So I need to, again, go back and check, those areas of improvement. I need to add a skills section. I need to, make sure that this education certification is matching really the job description that they are putting there, and maybe writing more words while volunteering experience is valuable. Ensure it's directly relates to this HR, demonstrates relevant skills. Again, don't add noise. You have to focus on the job description and add the LinkedIn profile. This person wasn't having the LinkedIn profile there, so that's another thing that you need to do. So you can, again, keep doing this, multiple times until you really get a better rating, maybe 5 out of 5 if possible. 4 out of 5 is still good, but I will always recommend that you try to do this multiple times so that you can get a better rating. Is there any questions so far, Sister Amber, that I need to answer here, or should I keep going?
Please keep going. We can ask the questions at the end, inshallah.
Sounds good. Okay, so now I'll ask ChatGPT to do something more for me here. What I'll do again, I'll let's assume that I don't know which role would make sense to me. So what I'll do here, I'll copy this resume. And this is a problem that I see in most job seekers. Sometimes they have a role that they've done back home. When they come to the US or Canada, they don't know what should I call myself, what should I say? I'm doing X or Y or Z. So what I'll do here, maybe I'll create a new chat and then ask ChatGPT, I am confused about my job role. Which one is the best for me? Act as a career coach and help me find best role for me in Canada, for example, because this resume is from Canada, and provide a table format with roles and salary range in Ontario. Okay, so as you can see here, I write a little bit more information, because if you give ChatGPT generic information, it will respond generically too. But if you really provide the exact situation that you are in, it will return back with better information to help you. So I'll now paste the resume here and then press enter and wait for the results. So as you can see here, it gave me, HR business partner. The salary range is 70 to 120. So now I can see, okay, so which role should I work for? If let's say my expenses is 80K a year, before taxes. So I should target some of those jobs that would give me more than 80K for sure. So for example, I could maybe do training and development specialist. I could do compensation and benefits analyst. Again, depending on what's my passion to do, I could, start targeting some of those roles and be the right person for that role. So this is a very important exercise that, sometimes people who are lost do to help them, find which role they should really focus on. And then what I could do is, maybe if I decide that I want to be an HR manager, so if I choose HR manager, help me understand the skills and certifications required to be hired in Ontario, and provide a list of companies with salary range in table format. So it started giving me, some of the skills and qualification, leadership, employee relations, recruitment, and talent management. So if I don't have those, then this maybe is not my perfect role to, target today. But if this is what I'm looking for in the future, maybe I can start planning to develop those skills or those qualifications in my action plan. And I need to do those certifications to be an HR. Again, I chose a non-technical, role because I'm in IT. I could really get excited by IT roles, and I want to give this as a generic one to everybody who's listening today. So it gave me a little bit companies that I don't know if those are real companies. Maybe let me just check real quick here. UVW Consulting. Let me just open this real quick here. Ontario.
And Brother Ahmed, we are at 5:42, just so you know, in case
Yeah,
you want to manage your time with question and answer
sounds
session,
good. Yeah.
inshallah.
Okay, sounds good. So again, I'll need to provide more information here to get better companies. Maybe this is not real companies, but maybe that's something that I need to do in my chat when I ask ChatGPT. Maybe I need to uh, deliver this question into two questions. Okay, so now we did the resume, we did the uh, targeting. Now let's prepare for an interview. So again, I'll go here, go to the job description, copy the job description, and then I'll go to ChatGPT. Where's ChatGPT here? I'll open a new chat. Help me prepare for an interview. Provide a list of interview questions and types of interview for this job description. Okay, so this is what I'll get now. So HR expertise and experience. Can you describe your experience in handling employee relations issues? How do you stay updated in changes in provincial employment legislation? So again, it's gonna give me, the types of questions. And what I'll do now is, start answering those questions. I can go to author.ai, for example, as I told you here, and I can start to record this answer, for example, here. And then what I'll say, it start gonna write whatever I say here, and then I can at the end copy and paste this, put it in ChatGPT as an answer, and then ask ChatGPT to mock my answers and provide me a rating. So I'll stop now this recording. This is just, again, a free tool for 30 minutes. You can use it for 30 minutes, unless you want more, you need to buy. So what you'll get here is some of those questions that I just, created from the chat GPT. General behavioral questions. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want to work for Sobeys? Describe a time when you had to manage multiple priorities. And HR specific questions, technical operations questions, and situational case-based questions. So again, there's tons of questions here, as you can see, but if you prepare yourself well to this job, then you will nail the offer letter. If you don't do that exercise, unfortunately, winging it is not gonna help you. So again, I wanna give some time for Q&A, so I think I covered most of the thing that we promised at the beginning here. Again, researching companies. So for example, if I want to maybe get a quick research for companies, let me just do this. Find me a list of companies for that is hiring HR in Ontario in a table format. Find mission, vision, projects, products, etc. You can see here, it gives you really, really quick, the company names and mission, vision, projects, product, and you can add, again, multiple things that you research, and you can copy those in a Google Doc or anything, and then keep adding to this, who are the people who you know in Shopify, how can they refer you, what is the hiring process. You can keep adding some of those to your research, and it's very easy to do this through ChatGPT. Okay, I think I covered everything here. I will now just answer those questions real quick before I jump into the Q&A. Is that okay?
Yes, that sounds great.
Sounds good. Okay, so is ChatGPT helpful tool for getting substantial knowledge in our jobs? 100%. Most companies today use ChatGPT in their work. But again, definitely you need to be careful putting any IP, intellectual property information in ChatGPT, because unless your company have an NDA with ChatGPT so that those information don't get spread outside, it's very risky. So check with your HR, check the policy within your company. Most big companies today use ChatGPT or an AI tool to help their employees become um, productive and fast in their delivery. So again, this is something that you can do for gaining general knowledge. So for example, if I want to learn about change management, I can just go here and ask ChatGPT, help me understand change management tools and methodologies. So this is a generic question. There is no harm in getting those answers. So you see here, it will tell you the tools, the biggest tool there, the methodologies, and you can maybe spend some time in those tools or those methodologies and get the certification. For example, ProSci is ADKAR, and so on. So let's go to the next question. How can ChatGPT in project management, construction, or manufacturing or engineering? So what I'll do, I'll just copy this and ask ChatGPT to answer that question, because I'm lazy. I'm very lazy, and I want to, be, responsible about the time too. So as you can see here, planning and scheduling, risk management, resource management, cost optimization, quality management, procurement, collaboration, environmental regulatory compliance. So ChatGPT is so strong and so powerful that it can help you in any job today. Continuous improvement. So again, it's just a real, magic for today's era, almost. What are the resources to augment ChatGPT to make the most of it? So again, I'll be lazy. I'll just copy this and paste it and ask ChatGPT to tell me the answer of this question. And again, it's a very generic question, so definitely the answer will be very generic too. But again, project management software, Asana, Trello, Microsoft Project, all those now are integrated with ChatGPT. Knowledge bases and wikis, platforms like Confluence, in Jira, internal wikis can store project documentation. There is tons of tools now using AI or ChatGPT, project management templates, PMI, and so many other things. Slack, data analytics, Power BI, a lot. So now, again, I'll be lazy. I'll put all those 3 questions there and provide you an answer for those. So cybersecurity after the AI boom, yes, absolutely. Again, the cybersecurity professionals is expected to remain strong. There is still going to be jobs. AI is not going to replace humans totally. That's not going to happen. But AI is going to be a tool that would help humans become fast and productive in their job. So again, if you don't know how to use AI in your field or industry, you'll be slower than others who use it. And then accordingly, you may be in danger in your employer. if you're working or if you're trying to get in. So you can again prepare for cybersecurity career. Again, there is with AI, cybersecurity become more complex because AI would give those people more strengths. Hackers can do lots of things also using AI to attack a company. So that's why the people who are defending the company working in cybersecurity will need again to learn the AI tools and how to defend those methodologies through their techniques. Again, using ChatGPT to build a resume. This is what we just saw today, having a resume ready for ChatGPT. I think I answered those now. So we already, yes, if you're using ChatGPT, and would it be coded by a potential employer? I don't think you care about this, as long as you're matching the job description, as long as you're really reading through, what, the content is and it's true, then you don't care about, if it's caught or not by the potential employer. And I don't think employer have the time or energy to check if it's ChatGPT or not, because they expect you to be smart and they expect you to know what to do to make yourself more, productive in today's world. Should we have our resume ready to feed through the app? Yes. Again, the app could itself help you making it ready. So I spoke a lot. I apologize if I was fast. I apologize if I didn't cover any area, but I'll now stop and open up for questions.
Thank you, brother, Mr. Ahmed. We really appreciate that. This was a very enlightening session. Um, you know, considering that there's been a bit of fear in the general community about AI taking over jobs, this helps understand the tool, and knowing how to use it and not be replaced by it is going to be put a lot of people at ease, inshallah. We do have some questions that came through during the session. One of the questions is, you said some jobs were hit hard because of AI. How does one neutralize this, especially if we're still in college or a new graduate?
Okay, that's a good question. So again, depending on the industry and the more specific information you can provide me, I can provide more specific answers. And the answer is gonna be always it depends. But there is jobs today, and maybe I can just again ask ChatGPT, what are the jobs that are most hit by AI today, and it will list down those administrative support roles, manufacturing production workers, retail salesperson, cashiers, customer service, drivers. And again, you can ask ChatGPT if your job or your education is hit by the AI and what should I do? And then again, it will provide you an answer with that. So again, I provided a generic answer because the question was very generic, and I'm happy to dive into details if there is specific industry or role that is in question here.
Okay. So if you guys have any specific questions, Mr. Ahmed has shared his LinkedIn profile and his phone number, and you're welcome to contact him on those. Another question we had was that you had mentioned earlier that if we don't add our graduate year in the resume, or not to do that, but eventually the age will come up either in screening or in the interview. So how do we handle that if we're slightly older?
100%, and then this is fair. So I personally, I'm not that young, as you can see, my white hair. So I'm okay to give them my age in the screening, but I don't want to lose this chance, in the filtering my resume, because I want to get interviews. If I get interviews, that's a good sign. If I don't get interviews, then that's a very difficult situation. So it's okay to tell the truth, and most employers today are not gonna ask you about your age. They are not gonna, ask about those things, because there is a big movement about diversity and inclusion, across the world. And big companies should be very careful about, some of those questions could be illegal, actually. So if somebody asks about your age, somebody is referring to your maybe, gender or other things, that's definitely illegal. They should not ask you those questions, and you should know your rights before going to the interview. And if this company is doing this to you, it's best that you don't get the job there. Trust me. If their culture is toxic, or they are really hunting for specific nationality or specific background, that's not an environment that you want to work for. 100%.
Sounds good. Another question we have is, does putting links in a resume negatively impact the ATS performance?
Good question. If you put the link as a hyperlink, this could be confusing to the ATS. But if you put the whole link, like sometimes people put the whole link of the LinkedIn instead of just putting a hyperlink that people can press and then go to the LinkedIn. That's better. So I recommend that you put the whole link. Again, ATS is a software. There is multiple versions of the software. You don't know which version that company is using. So to be safe, just put the whole link in your resume so that they read it, they use it, and then you're safe.
Sounds good. Another question we have is, when I see a resume without educational information, or I think you actually already kind of answered this, or the graduation it makes me think that the candidate is hiding something, but I think you've already answered that with the previous question. That it doesn't that create a negative impression. But as you said earlier, that it's not about hiding your age, it's just about getting through to the next step of the interview, and then they'll see you with your age and shouldn't be discriminating you based on
100%.
that, right?
100%. Again, resume's biggest job is to get you an interview. If you're getting hired without going through an interview, it's 100% fraud. You shouldn't continue with that person. So be careful. Don't really provide any personal information unless you go through an interview. And again, when a company tell you, we're going through an interview, just check them too. Some companies or some scammers, some, unfortunately, hackers try to steal your information, use your situation through this. So please, please, please make sure that you check and research that company very well, and see if there is referrals, see if there is reviews. Go to Google, check the reviews, and see if they're legit before you.
But you're also saying that not having that information on your resume shouldn't negatively impact you, correct?
Not having which information? Sorry.
Not having the date of like when you graduated, the year of your graduation, or
Yeah,
your
companies should not care about this. If you read any job description, you will never find them asking you
how
for,
recently did you graduate?
yeah. For example, I'm just again putting here project manager. They will never ask, are you graduating from Carleton University or University of Texas, or are you coming this year? They will never ask you this. They will just say, I need a bachelor degree. I need, a certificate of XYZ. So this is something that you shouldn't provide any information. Again, unless they have a job form that you need to fill, then they will definitely know your age from that form, unfortunately. If you can avoid putting that date, then that's a good thing too.
Great. The next question is quite specific. Our viewer graduated last December from UHD with a BS in computer science. Will an employer notice that a candidate used AI to build his or her resume? How many pages should a resume for a new graduate be? And could you schedule a meeting to help in how to negotiate salary?
Sure. So maybe that's a future session that we could work on for negotiation and salary
Sounds right.
negotiation. Again, there is no right or wrong number of pages for any resumes, but the less you talk, the less you make mistakes. This is the right answer. And الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام قال خير الكلام ما قل ودل، أو يعني I don't remember now the exact word. Maybe Brother Ahmed can help us with it. But the less you talk, the less you make mistakes, and the more efficient you become. So if your experience can be done in one page, that's good. If 2 pages is okay, 3 pages, 5 pages, it's fine. But again, you need to tailor to the job description. That's your first goal to pass the ATS. If you have 1 page but it's not tailored, it's not gonna work. If you have 5 pages and it's not tailored, it's not gonna work. So 1 page, 2 page, it doesn't make a matter. It doesn't matter to me, to be honest. I've been helping people, for the last 5 years. It doesn't make any matter at all if your resume is 1 page or 5 pages. My resume is 5 pages and it's working. I have a lot of experience and I put my experience tailored to the job description. So again,